The Ps Vr2 is a significant upgrade from its predecessor, and over the past year, it has quietly dropped over 100 games, but it can be hard to navigate through a library you may not know much about. So if you're in need of an immersive next-gen experience, then today we're sharing our top 20 must-have Ps Vr2 games. Now let's begin.
Let's hope those terraformers don't wake up before I finish the job.
If you're looking for a fun sci-fi action adventure with excellent visuals and a variety of immersive and interactive gameplay mechanics, then Hubris is the perfect prescription for you. It has beautiful set pieces, impressive swimming mechanics with good use of haptics to make it feel more realistic, and on the hardest difficulty makes for a great cover shooter as well. VR Skater is one of the best skateboarding games I've experienced since the golden years of the Tony Hawk series, and you'll find tons of similarities with different locations that offer multiple paths for you to sharpen your skills on. There's a learning curve at first, but you'll quickly start chaining together enormous combos and pulling off major tricks with different challenges and modes. The graphics are sharp and crisp, the haptics add a nice feel to the gameplay, there's some awesome customization that wears off on the board over time, and it's got a killer soundtrack to skate to.
Hey there, nice to meet you, little guy. Wanna be friends?
The sequel to one of the most popular Gen 1 VR games, Arizona Sunshine 2 takes everything that was good about the first and adds a whole new level of polish, mechanics, and cinematic storytelling. You don't have to be alone in the apocalypse as you embark on a fun and exciting adventure where you get to absolutely maul massive hordes of Freds with excellent gunplay mechanics and visceral destruction.
Every person I meet wants to rip my head off and eat my brains. Every single person, hundreds of them.
Seeking to avenge your fallen master, you'll take to the streets and rooftops of Venice, sneaking around and feasting off the blood of your enemies to get to the bottom of a threat in the criminal underworld. Vampire the Masquerade Justice is a full 8 to 10 hour campaign with replay value, excellent stealth, a crossbow on your hand for taking down foes and collecting secrets, and amazing abilities to unlock that range from spawning demonic traps to making your enemies' heads literally explode.
You do well to remember that. Because if you don't, I'll make things very uncomfortable for you.
There, he's awake.
Ryas, machines attack this settlement.
Horizon Call of the Mountain is a great introductory and technical showpiece for VR. It has AAA quality graphics and demonstrates great use of haptics and immersive interactions, but the environments are an absolute sight to behold as you would expect coming from the Horizon franchise. While the gameplay consists of a lot of climbing and the combat is set to a circular path, the second half of the game really picks up the pace and has some very memorable moments and epic battles against machines that completely tower over you.
Expendable to go after him.
Walkabout Minigolf is possibly the greatest minigolf game ever made, and I find myself returning to it often with its loads of courses, tons of creative and fun holes to master, and you can play with up to 7 friends at a time. The gameplay is perfection, there's impressive level designs with a variety of awesome themes, and there's additional activities. It's such a fun and social experience that you can sink loads of hours into, and it's worth every penny.
They're infected.
Fans of the original Resident Evil need to take note of Propagation Paradise Hotel. It's an action survival that takes place in a massive zombie-infested inn. Not only is it scary exploring the hallways and rooms with corpses lying everywhere that can pop up at any given moment, but it's extremely polished with a story-driven campaign, great graphics, intuitive controls, interactive gameplay mechanics, and epic boss fights.
What is that?
Jumping off a cliff, yelling like Tarzan while clubbing a dinosaur on the head has to be one of my favorite gaming memories of all time. But Song in the Smoke offers so much more in terms of immersion and content. There's massive open areas to explore full of beautiful environments, deadly wildlife, and harsh survival conditions. It has some of the best crafting mechanics, and it takes full advantage of the hardware with eye-tracked foveated rendering, great haptics, and headset rumble. Crossfire Sierra Squad is a huge action-packed shooter with some AAA qualities and next-gen features. It has a solo or co-op style campaign for a budget price and tons of content. It also has some of the best gunplay with manual reloading, exceptional haptics and adaptive trigger use, a huge arsenal of weapons and attachments to choose from, and a variety of enemies and boss fights. From close quarter battles to intense long-range sniper standoffs to grabbing RPGs or miniguns to take down giant UAVs and choppers and hordes of enemies, it is an essential title for any fan of explosive first-person shooters. I highly recommend stepping out of your gaming bubble to try out the turn-based, dark fantasy tabletop dungeon crawler Demeo. While it gets tons of attention for being a fun and social 4-player multiplayer experience, which it is exceptional in this regard, the entirety of the game can also be played solo as well, and it's equally fun to sink several hours into. Whether you prefer to play solo or co-op, the enhanced Ps Vr2 version has great visuals and animations, interactive card and tabletop gameplay, and loads of hours of content and replay value. This unique and highly polished tabletop RPG should be in everyone's collection.
How about some of this?
Yet another lamb to the slaughter. Well, come on then. Let's see what you're made of.
Synapse has one of the greatest technical achievements on Ps Vr2, and that is amazing telekinesis. Targets can be painted using eye tracking and then telepathically grabbed, thrown, slammed, and controlled with the simple movement of your arm. It needs to be experienced for the telekinesis alone, but it also boasts very cool art design. It stars David Hayter and Jennifer Hale of Metal Gear fame and is an extremely immersive experience.
Back again? Pathetic! Your heroics mean nothing!
You're getting close. You're approaching the center of his subconscious.
Pavlov was one of the biggest surprises at launch, and still continues to be one of, if not the best multiplayer shooter for VR. The variety of game modes are excellent, from the Counter-Strike-esque search and destroy, to the hilarious social deduction murder mystery TTT, to driving tanks in a World War II battlefield, and more. The manual reloading and great use of haptics, adaptive triggers, and headset rumble, along with sharp visuals and a variety of weapons, make Pavlov and its awesome modes a must-play for those looking for a social and competitive multiplayer.
Her story depends on you.
From the highly detailed environments, to excellent platforming and hack-and-slash combat, to creative and interactive puzzles to solve, seldom are there games that feel as rich as the Moss series. Led by the extremely likable and hand-signing mouse heroine Quill, the adventure you go on together as the reader is a stunning one, journeying through a fantasy and medieval little mouse world. The gameplay only gets better as you make your way further into the series, and it's another absolute must that would be criminal to overlook. It's insane that a game of this size and scope could be possible by just one developer, but Vertigo 2 is an indie masterpiece. The lengthy campaign takes you on a fun and bizarre first-person shooter adventure with loads of enemy types, weapons to collect, and epic moments and boss battles. It has some of the most imaginative art direction, the weapons all come with unique methods for operating and reloading them, and they're a blast to use. And with New Game Plus as well as modifiers, this large first-person shooter adventure is also very replayable.
received a distress signal from your crewmate on Strelka N3. You have a new mission.
Red Matter was one of the most stunning games on PSVR, and Red Matter 2 has done it yet again, but to a whole new level. The mysterious sci-fi puzzle sequel has graphical clarity that boasts an insane 7480 by 3818 resolution using eye-tracked foveated rendering, as well as runs in native 120 frames per second, resulting in one of the sharpest, smoothest VR experiences you can ever have. Graphics aside, it has a thrilling and mysterious adventure with some shocking out-of-this-world surprises, and the sequel adds in some platforming and shooting segments as well.
What have you done to ensure the future of this forsaken city?
Forever a VR benchmark title, the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners series gives gamers exactly what they want. High quality, full length, built from the ground up for VR gameplay, and has some of the deepest features for immersion. The physics are amongst the best with visceral and weighty combat, highly intuitive and interactive UI and inventory system, and a variety of weapons at your disposal. Chapter 2 expands upon the first with higher resolution, new areas in night mode, and don't forget, a chainsaw.
The song they sing will be righteous.
After receiving the update that added eye-tracked foveated rendering, No Man's Sky now lets you explore the entire universe with some of the most impressive looking graphics in VR. And if you consider how much content is in the game after receiving 7 years of over 20 significant updates, it's kind of unbelievable what they have achieved here. From taking off into space to travel to a planet in the sky, to collecting and riding exotic animals, and so much more, all without any loading screens, the open universe sandbox is yours to claim, and an absolute must experience that offers hundreds and hundreds of hours of content to explore.
Here we go.
One of the greatest games of all time, a timeless classic. Resident Evil 4 Remake's campaign is now fully playable in VR, and it's obvious why it's considered to be one of the best in the series. Besides looking like a PS5 game in the headset, which is an achievement in itself, the slow and eerie start quickly turns into one of the most fun, high-octane, and over-the-top adventures as you get to play as one of the most iconic game characters in history. The shooting and manual reloading feel excellent, the trusty knife has some insanely good haptics, the enemy designs are amazing and creepy, and it is also highly replayable with New Game Plus, multiple difficulties, and deep weapon loadouts to choose from and customize.
Cleansing of his sin! Hear him! You shall not escape!
Playing Gran Turismo 7 with the controller is fun, but with a racing rig is the most immersive gaming experience I've ever had in my life. It looks and feels incredibly realistic, making you feel like a true race car driver, and with such a vast selection of cars with unique interiors and tracks to choose from, makes for a mind-blowing experience every time you jump back in. There's hundreds of hours of awesome content, from the main cafe missions to weekly challenges to all the different tracks and conditions. It's easy to learn and even more satisfying to master, and there's loads to do and unlock along the way.
Lycans and gentlemen!
Resident Evil Village may not have the depth and replay value of Resident Evil 4, but it has the far superior VR implementation, making for one of the most fun and immersive blockbusters to ever experience within a headset. The gunplay, manual reloading, haptics, and adaptive triggers are top tier. It seldom takes you out of first person even during cutscenes. The world is beautiful, dark, and mysterious, and it has amazing and unforgettable boss fights. It's a thrill ride that's fun from start to finish and is a perfect example of executing a high-quality AAA hybrid title and must own. Alright guys, we're not even a year in, and Ps Vr2 is already made for some of the best VR gaming I've ever experienced, and it's only getting started. From AAA hybrids to breakthrough indies, VR is taking a lot of big steps forward, even despite a smaller market, and I can't wait to see what comes next. So do you like my list? Let me know your top 20 in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.